Watching Business Morning. Today we're looking at the 2013 Banking Industry Customer Satisfaction Survey conducted by KPMG. KPMG is an audit tax advisory firm, and I'm now being joined by one of its senior managers, Bode Abifarin. Thank you so much, Bode, for being here.
Thank you, Esther. Good morning.
Good morning. Now, I'm looking very, wide research done there, trying to find out a measure, as it were, the sentiment of the average bank customer. You divided that into the retail customers, SMEs, as the small and medium enterprises, and the big corporate and commercial companies, as it were. Now, one thing struck me. I'm looking at the sentiments of the customers, in terms of what's top priority for them. But before we go into that, I understand that you did it you conducted the survey over 14,000 retail customers, 3,000 SMEs, and over 400 corporates. That was a lot of manpower you had to deploy. Yes. How did you do that?
Okay, thank you, Esther. Good morning. The Banking Industry Customer Satisfaction Survey is in the 7th year. We've done this for 7 years now, and we look at customers' perception to service across corporate, retail, and SME, like you said. For the retail customers, we covered about 10 locations last year, and it's now 18 locations. And what we do is a one-on-one interaction with the retail customers. So we deploy the questionnaires. We have the administrators on the streets, and they ensure that they go to places where there is high traffic of people. It's an independent survey, so it's not bank specific. So we talk to the customers and take them through the questionnaires so that they can tell us how they have perceived their interactions with the bank. For the corporate customers, we choose the top corporates across the industries, and we talk to the CFOs of those companies, and we ask them how they perceive the relationships with the banks. And it's also a one-on-one interaction, and it's the same thing that we do for the SME customers.
Now, was it easy to do? Because I know when it comes to collecting data here in Nigeria, it can be quite cumbersome, and I mean you did a good job. But I'm just thinking, was it easy for you to do that? 14,000, and you talked about having your people on the street.
Yes, what we've done is in the first year that we did this, we only concentrated on the corporate customers because we're able to leverage on some of the relationships we have with these corporate customers. So after we did that in the first year, in the second year, we started with a sample size that will allow us to ensure that we get accurate responses from the customers, and we've increased it over the years. So we train the respondents, give them the questionnaires, and then we also do pilots before we now roll out fully. So it's been a learning process along the way, but we've increased the numbers every year, and this year we were able to do 14,000.
We're talking about increasing numbers because some people might want to ask about the credibility of this research done. They say just 14,000 retail customers. I mean, there are thousands of them out there. Is that enough to say yes, we can actually put them on?
You're correct.
You have other organizations use them as.
Yes. What we've done is there's a minimum sample size that ensures that you've covered the adequate number of respondents. And we base this sample size on the number of retail banking customers we have in Nigeria. So the number of customers that we've seen and talked to respond to the questionnaires are quite representative. And we've built on this over the years.
Okay, let's talk about the key findings. I found some of them quite interesting. Now, one thing that struck me in terms of what's most important to the customers, retail, SMEs, and corporate, the 5 top, or let's concentrate on the 3 top priority areas for them. According to your report, for the first time in 5 years, excellent customer service has now replaced financial stability. Customers are now actually more concerned about how they are treated, perhaps even right from the security guard at the gate, or perhaps at the door, down to the woman the cashier and the customer service desk.
Sure.
Tell us about that.
Okay. When we talk about excellent customer service for the retail customers, we actually ask them questions along 4 key areas. So we're looking at customer care. How friendly and polite is the staff? How proactive were they? How quickly did they respond to you? What kind of products and services were they proactive? Did they give you another advice? Did they tell you what they want? How seamless was it to get from through the door, right from the security man? If you want to do funds transfer, how quickly were you able to do this, and how quickly were they able to respond to you? So we look at products, we look at transaction method and systems. Were there system downtimes? We look at convenience. When you went to the ATM, was there cash? Were you able to call the contact center? Did they answer the call once you called them? How the branches, what was the ambience, what was the look and feel? You know, so it's just a seamless interaction of the so we take it right from the door across. So it's apart from the branch, we also look at the ATMs, we look at the contact center, we look at internet banking, we also look at pricing. How, you know, the cost of maintaining accounts, what are your perceptions? So products and services, what products were they marketing to you? How suitable was it to your needs? Those are some of the things we look at under customer service. So I think that is why excellent customer service has continued to be, because now most banks, the customers are not questioning if they are financially stable or not. They know they are stable. But what they now want is, how quickly, do you know my needs? Are you responding to my needs? Those are some of the questions the retail customer is asking now.
Let me quickly throw this one in. When you talk about the banks, are they all, like 20 of them, all the banks, all the commercial,
yes.
or not the major ones that people are familiar with?
The commercial banks.
All of them,
yes.
the commercial,
yes.
the commercial banks. Now, did you ask, because like you said, 5 years ago, they were more interested in, you know, financial stability. Yes. I guess that would be that time when, you know, we had that banking crisis.
Yes.
And so obviously we can say from this report that the customers are now very much comfortable about the financials of these banks, that they're no longer in trouble as well. All that issue of non-performing loans and sort of changing names and all of that doesn't matter to them anymore. Well, that's good. Now let's talk about the image and coming second, of course, was financial stability.
Yes.
What did they have to say about that?
So financial stability, what are the perceptions on how stable you are, how quickly you report your financial image and reputations, things about your governance, how stable do they perceive you, corporate governance. Those are some of the things that are behind some of these pillars that we've put out. So, and interestingly, if you look at we also asked the customers that what are the key service things that are important to you. And if you look at the retail side, they're saying, you know, it's the friendly, polite, and proactive staff. You know, that was the first thing that they're saying is the most important to them.
Well, why do you think that's become important now? Because I'm not trying to, you know, put anyone down, because it's almost a culture here. You know, Nigerians, you know, there's, you know, the atmosphere many times, you know, can be quite tense, especially in the commercial areas, and people are not particularly concerned about just render the service. You know, they're not particular if you do it with a smile or you know, do it enough courtesy. But now all of a sudden, people are actually more interested, particularly about how they're treated. Okay,
we'll still get to that, but you know, if you look at that's where the issue of loyalty now comes in. Some customers will continue to bank with a particular bank, you know, no matter how they perceive their service to be. So even if I go into the banking hall, let your staff know if I'm going to wait 10 minutes for funds transfer, if I'm going to wait for 10 minutes for my check to be cleared, you know, how friendly, are they proactive, are they saying, please, you have to wait for 10 minutes. You know, those are some of the things they are looking at. So they actually want that interaction with their bank. They want you to tell them, give them that confidence that once you get there, it's going to be served. If you go to the ATMs and they are cash out or your card gets stuck in and you complain, they want to be sure that when I come to you, you are proactive, you are friendly. You're not even making me feel like, okay, please go and wait. You're just
they're doing you a favor.
You're doing me a favor. You're just one of the 1,000,001 customers that we even, you know, were serving. So those are some of the things, you know. So every year, I think it's been a pattern. The customers, both the retail and SME, they want friendly, proactive, and polite staff. Now, when you move to the corporate side, it's quite different because, you know, corporate relationship is more of relationship management. So they want the relationship managers to have knowledge and context of their business. So, for instance, if I'm in manufacturing, I want my relationship manager to be proactive, know my cycles, know when I'm going to ask for a loan, help me. You know, I don't want to come to the branch. They don't come to the branch. They want a one-on-one.
But isn't that still an issue of customer?
So it's still customer service. So theirs is the relationship managers that are coming to me, let them have a context and understanding of my business. So it's not just a surface knowledge. Understand my business so you can serve me better. So that's what the corporate. And then the other thing that is most important to the retail and SME customers is improved delivery through channels. And it's interesting that this year we also had an add-on to the survey. We talked to the youth, that's people between the ages of 18 and 30. And, you know, we asked them the same question, that what is the most important to you? You know, this was a big sample size. When we talk to the youth segment, they're saying it's improved service through channels. So the internet banking, once I log on, I want to have that seamless connection. I want to be able to pay my bills, do my transfer online without necessarily walking into a branch. So the retail customers, they want to go to their ATMs, they want to be able to go to the internet banking, the channel is the mobile payments that a lot of the banks are promoting now. If I want to make a payment, please let it go through, because you find out that part of their issues is when they have these issues through alternate channels, which is not the branch, and they call in, it's usually somebody else is treating it. Okay, we've passed it to this department, they don't want to know. What the customer wants to know is, I've come to this bank, who is the face of the bank, who am I interacting with, and who is ensuring that my complaints are getting solved. So it's also interesting, because if you look at what we have in terms of where the customers, where they would like to make complaints, we ask them that, how do you want to make complaints? A lot of the customers are coming to the branch, because they're telling you that if I call the contact center, there's nobody that is answering me. If I have issues with the internet banking, how do I route these issues? So those are some of the key things that are coming out of this.
Nice. I'm looking at part of the report, and it says that in terms of transferring funds, making complaints, getting financial advice, many of the customers still prefer to go to the banking hall. Yes, they use the ATM, but it seems like, we're still having more people going to the banking hall.
Yes. But if you look at the results in terms of the cash withdrawals and then making balance inquiry, you can see that the ATMs, about 53% of the respondents are saying that for cash withdrawals, I'll rather go to the ATM, checking my balance inquiry, I'll rather go to the ATM, which presents an opportunity for banks to ensure that, these channels that the customers are saying that they prefer to make particular type of transactions, we get it up and running.
Okay, well, as we have been seeing from the numbers, hold your thoughts.